Jon Jones is obviously one of the greatest talents to ever fight in the UFC, and in the lead up to his fight with Stipe, he was talking about one word more than any other: legacy. He was talking about it in the context of not wanting to fight Tom Aspinall because what's in it for me, I think is what he said, because it didn't help his legacy enough. And he was talking about how he wanted to fight Alex Pereira because that was a better legacy fight, even though Dana White quickly quashed that.
The winner should absolutely fight Tom.
And now that Tom Aspinall fight is obviously not happening, what will Jon's legacy be? And I'm not even talking about the Aspinall stuff or the Stipe fight, just in general, what will Jon Jones's legacy be? When I think of Jon Jones, I think of a guy who did everything in the cage that should make me want to be a fan, but it's everything else outside of the cage that makes me really dislike the guy. I think Jon is the perfect example of someone who is fake and who will know when the camera is on and how to behave.
Thank you guys so much for having us.
And when he thinks the camera is off, you'll see his true self.
Hey, are you still there? When you say live, like who can hear it? Oh, so people can use this.
His talent alone should put him on the Mount Rushmore of MMA, but it's everything else that makes him controversial. How many times can a good person do bad things before they're just a bad person? In 2012, he drove his Bentley into a telephone pole and he was arrested for driving under the influence. He was alleged to have slapped a cocktail waitress in 2019 at a strip club. In 2020, he failed the field sobriety test and was arrested. He had that fight with Daniel Cormier at the press conference, and I already showed you those clips of him pretending he was a nice guy when the camera was on and not so nice when the camera was off, or so he thought. He famously had that hit and run with the pregnant woman. He had that alleged assault on the worker from USADA earlier this year. And speaking of USADA, Jon failed a drug test prior to UFC 182 in 2015. In 2016, before UFC 200, he tested positive for 2 banned substances. In 2017, he was flagged again for a violation by USADA. And also, very famously, they had to move an entire card because of Jon Jones. When he was supposed to fight Alexander Gustafsson, there was some irregularities in his drug test, and Nevada would not grant him a license, so they had to move the entire card to California and persuade Alexander Gustafsson to take the fight. Unfortunately, once you get caught with steroids, it's really hard not to assume you were on steroids the whole time, especially in this case where it's not just one instance of like a tainted supplement and maybe he took it by accident and didn't know. This is multiple times where he's had problems with drug tests and not passing them. So given all of that, where does it leave us? Obviously, Jon Jones is a very controversial person. Anytime someone is really good at something and you talk about other things that aren't so good about them, it's just chalked up to, oh, you're just being a hater. I'm not being a hater. I want to like Jon Jones so bad. His talent, his ability, the way he fights, I should be a fan. I should love this guy, but I don't. And that's Jon's fault and nobody else's. Let me know what you think. Where does Jon Jones fall in the greatest of all time conversation? What is Jon's legacy? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.